everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Nyangu, and on this channel we talk about everything to do with the power of the subconscious mind from a spiritual perspective, mystical perspective, quantum physics perspective, neuroscience perspective. In this video, I want to talk about the power of thoughts and how we sometimes unknowingly give things or people outside of us permission, or we deny ourselves permission to have new thoughts, to have different thoughts. And I'm going to add a bit of my own understanding from certain Bible verses that speak about false gods, and yeah, I'll give a bit of a metaphysical perspective in regards to thoughts and permission and false gods. So let's get into the video. So to start with, I have my notes. So when I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, so firstly, I want to talk about how I noticed with myself that I noticed a pattern over time with me. When I say my affirmations, I noticed that there are times when I focus so much on external validation, like looking for proof in your physical world before you believe something, that before you believe that something is true for you, is basically looking for external validation. You know, waiting for somebody outside of your world to confirm to you that what you're doing is right, or what you're doing is true, or what you believe is true rather. That's you looking for external validation from someone outside of you, right? And you know, that can really set us back. I know through my experience that really set me back. Every time I affirm something and I'm looking for proof outside in my physical world, I always end up finding myself being discouraged and then wanting to give up on changing the way my mind works, or changing the way my thoughts, changing my negative thoughts to positive thoughts, because I can't see proof in the physical world. Because every time you look for proof outside of you, you constantly be discouraged, because the outside only reflects to us what's going on the inside. So if you're looking for proof on the outside, the fact that you're looking for proof shows that you don't have the thing that you want. And if you're doing that, then what's happening is within in your thoughts are basically founded in the fact that you don't have what you want, and the outside world is reflecting that back to you. So looking in the outside world for proof that you have what you want, it's like a very unhealthy cycle where you're looking for proof, but the proof isn't outside, the proof is inside. The proof is the decision that you make. Like every time you make a decision that this is true for me, and I change, you know, I'm changing my thoughts to believe that this is what I have, this is what I want, then that is enough proof. The proof is in your decision. Once you make the decision, the proof is in that, basically, right? So I just see it as every single time you look in the outside world for proof, then you're giving permission to the things outside of you to dictate what you choose to believe and to dictate how you feel. But then if you really think about it, like if you understand how powerful our thoughts are and how our thoughts create our reality, isn't it crazy that we would give permission to people outside of us for us to decide whether it's okay to believe in something or not? Like the basis of you believing in something is if people in your world tell you like, oh yeah, that's true, you can believe that. Like the fact that we give people that kind of power is really I don't know, like it's dangerous, because your thoughts create your reality. So at the end of the day, we always get to decide what is true for us without having to look into the outside world for external validation. And of course, I guess it's normal in a way, you know, our conditioning, I mean, not, yeah, I guess it's natural, like our conditioning, just the things you, depending on your childhood experiences. Sometimes there's trauma, sometimes there's people pleasing, sometimes there's low self-esteem, sometimes there's just being human, and we're social beings by nature. So it's just nice to have people kind of confirm the things that we want to believe, and I get that that's nice. But I think that's what the whole spiritual experience is, you know, when you kind of rise above those physical needs as a human being, when you kind of rise above the need to be, you know, for social validation, when you rise above that and understand that, you know what, it's okay that I want people to confirm what I'm believing to be true. It's okay that I want to see proof, but I know that the proof is in my decision. Like rising above that and knowing that just you deciding and saying that this is true for me now is enough. That is enough. Enough work done. That is enough. That's the only proof that you need. The only proof that you need is your decision, right? So then now when you look at there's certain Bible verses that speak on how we shouldn't worship false gods. I know there are multiple verses like that. I had checked and there are so many that talk about not worshiping false gods. And the way I understand that is like this. So again, it's not from a religious perspective, it's from a more mystical, spiritual interpretation. So the way I understand that is this, right? Like if you every time you give power to the things outside of you for you to believe that something is true, then you're worshiping a false god. Like you've given power to your friends, or you've given power to social media, you've given power to the basically the physical world. And then we forget that the physical world is only a reflection of what's going on within us internally. So it doesn't really make sense to look for proof in the outside world because everything is within us, right? Everything is within you. And then if you understand, you know how the Bible also says that the kingdom of God is within us, right? The kingdom of God isn't something that you look for or you look at or you it's not a destination that you reach. It's an internal thing. It's something that exists within everyone, right? So if you understand that the kingdom of God is within you, then you know that God is within you. So if God is within you, then an inner acceptance, you affirming to yourself and saying this is true for me, is enough, because that is the God within you. That is where creation comes from, and that is the God within you accepting what is true for you too. Every time you accept something to be true for you, it's like a communication between you and God. I like this interpretation that Reverend Ike said in one of his services. He said something like, I may not quote him word for word, but he said something like, God exists in our thoughts, or something like our thoughts are God in action. So basically every time you think about something, that the thought itself is God. And if you think about it, to me that makes sense, because God is creative energy. God created everything, right? So God is creative energy. So if our thoughts create, then there's no separation between our thoughts and God. So basically every thought that you have has the potential to create either bad or good, either evil or evil or good, same thing, right? Either health or sickness, either wealth or poverty. And I think again there's a verse that talks about that, like, excuse me, there's a verse that talks about God saying something like, what does it say? There's a verse that says something like, I'm the creator of life and the creator of death. I create everything. And it kind of makes sense if we understand that our thoughts create everything, and God creates everything. It makes sense that our thoughts are basically God in action. Every time you think something and you think something over and over again, that's basically your prayer. Like our thoughts are our prayers. Again, another thing is that I see us like this human experience is almost I know people always say this, but like it's like a very spiritual experience, because it's like every in every moment we are constantly creating. So every moment is holy, regardless of where you are, regardless of who you are. Every moment, every place you are in, is you're in this creative state whereby every thought that you have, you will create, whether you're drinking, whether you're high, whether you're sober, whether you're in the church, you're home, you're just chilling, wherever you are, because we're always thinking, so we're always creating, right? So basically, what I'm just trying to say is that since God is within us and the kingdom of God lies within us, we are constantly creating from our godly state, because everybody has God within them. Everybody is God in the physical manifestation, right? So every time you say something, that is creative. Every time you think something, that is creative, regardless of where you are or who you are or how you're feeling. What you continuously say to yourself over and over again, that word becomes flesh, that word becomes manifest, that word becomes physical, and it becomes your experience. So knowing who you are is so important in understanding how your thoughts work, because like if you know who you are, if you understand how powerful you are, and you still choose to like dwell in negative thoughts, I don't know, I guess to each their own, right? Yeah, everybody's allowed to think how they want to think. We're not shaming, we're not judging. Obviously, this channel is for those that resonate with what I'm saying. And if you're somebody who wants to work on changing your thoughts, I think it's really important to understand who you are. When you understand who you are and how powerful you are, you see that it becomes, it almost seems like kind of like ridiculous to stay in a negative state, because you understand that these thoughts I'm having are creative, so I can't stay in this state forever. Of course, feeling an emotion is different. I'm not saying that we can't feel a negative, you can't think a negative thought. Like, thoughts, I feel like sometimes they just can come, like, I feel like thoughts are like clouds, and sometimes they just kind of come to you depending on your frequency, like depending on how you're feeling. I feel like we attract thoughts based off how we're feeling, but that's the different. That's not even the point. My point is that because we understand how powerful our thoughts are, I think it's very helpful, and it's very helpful to continuously watch your thoughts, like just being intentional with what you are thinking. And the beauty about this is that it gets easier the more you watch your thoughts, the more you change your thoughts. And then the more you change your thoughts, you start to naturally think in the thoughts that you are changing. So obviously, if you're changing from negative to positive, right, you start to think positively naturally over time. And looking for proof in the outside world is basically you giving your power away to the next person. And every time we give our power away, in a way, you're kind of worshiping false gods, because why are you sleeping on the God within you? You deciding that something is true is enough to be true. You just making a decision and saying, this is my reality, this is what I experience, is enough to be true, because your thoughts create your reality, your words create your reality. So saying something is more than enough. So then if you shut that down and say, no, I need this person to agree with me first, then I'm going to believe in what I'm saying. We are basically worshiping false gods. Every time we look for external validation, every time we need people around us to tell us you're doing the right thing, that's the right thought, you're going to get what you want. Like, and of course it feels good for people to tell us that we're doing the right thing. And the funny thing is this, that in the beginning, people may look at you and be like, oh, okay, it's a bit strange, like being that optimistic seems a bit like, like you're kind of losing touch of reality, or something, which is a whole thing, because even reality is subjective. But what I'm just trying to say is that when you get to a point that you really master how your thoughts work, and you intentionally and consciously create your reality, people around you are going to see that. They're going to see that, and they're going to believe you, and they're going to validate you, and they're going to basically see that you literally create your own reality. So people will eventually believe you either way. So there's no point in looking for that validation. It's going to come. And I'm not saying that it coming should be like comfort. I mean, if it comforts you, that's fine. But that wasn't my point. My point is that it will come either way. What's important is just understanding that your thoughts create your reality. Every single thought that you have, it comes back to us like a boomerang. I think Florence Scovel explained this whole boomerang thing several times. I think even Louise Hay said the same thing. Right now I'm reading her book for the first time, You Can Heal Your Life, and I'm just, I think, on the third page or fourth page, and I really love it. I've been watching her interviews, and she explains about the power of thoughts, and it's just nice seeing people who've walked the path and just seeing how far they've come and how much they've changed. It really inspires me. So I'm basically going through that right now. I'm changing my thoughts every day. I'm being intentional, and I'm just sharing what I'm experiencing with people that resonate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.